as teachers, every time we do a lesson, we are always asked to integrate some type of technology nowadays, from Google Docs to smart boards to YouTube videos to even the littlest of things. Our principals, superintendents, the state of Texas, whatever state you're in, they want you to use technology in some sort of way to make your lesson better or more enjoyable, or to just use it as a strategy to get students to want to learn. So today I'm going to talk about 2 models that you can use that'll help you evaluate your use of technology in the classroom. The first one is called the SAMR model. And the SAMR model basically stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. Those are the 4 words that you can use to look at how technology is being used in your lesson. Are you just using it instead of using something else, or are you using it to create something that they never could have done before without the use of technology? So I'm going to walk you through those 4 words and give you examples about something you can, about a way you can use that. So with substitution, basically it's taking technology and subbing it for something that we would use every day. So if a student was writing a paper, instead of having to use pen and paper or pencil and paper, whatever you preferred, having them write it on Microsoft Word or Google Docs of some sort. Then you move into augmentation, where you look at how it functions. Is there a way you can use it to make it better? How can you make it function better? So it would be taking that same idea with having them write the paper on Google Docs, and then taking it, and instead of printing out the paper and handing it to you, sending it to you electronically, where you can view it and give them instant feedback on their paper. So keeping with that trend, let's talk about modification. Modification is basically taking the technology and thinking about how can I use it to modify or create something or make something easier, make something better. So with that same line with the Google Docs, you go from having them type it on Google Docs to them sending it to you so that you can look at it, from then them sending it to a friend or sharing it with a group of friends and allowing them to peer edit it instantly on the internet, so they always have it with them. So their friend doesn't have to think about, oh no, I have to do this right now, and they have to have the paper back before class. But that they can go on at home and they can do it, and then they can see it instantly, so they could be working on their paper and their friend can be commenting and saying, hey, go back and change the sentence. It says such and such did such and such, and it doesn't really make sense. Flip this verb, and your agreement here doesn't make sense. Oh, you should put a comma here, sort of thing. I'm using that to help create something that they could do normally, but it makes it easier for them. And then you get into redefinition, where you kind of have to think about how are they going to be able to do something that they never would have been able to do before without the use of technology. And a really good example is having them with let's keep with the track of the paper, is taking that paper, maybe it's over a historical event or a poem that they wrote, and connecting with a class overseas or in another country in the Americas, this South American country or something of that nature, and having them read their story to them, or having the class read each other's story. And then there's a way that you can do voice comments and having them talk about their paper, their differences in what they saw, why they wrote it this style and why they wrote it that style, because culture plays a lot into that. And so not only are they learning about they're getting to interact with people that they may never meet again, but they're also getting to learn how in some cultures they say something one way and we say it a different way. So that's the SAMR model. And the next model we're going to talk about is TIM. And TIM is basically the idea that you look at how how comfortable you are with technology. Are you just using it because you're being told you have to use it, or are you using it because you want your students, you want to create this environment where they want to learn and they want to create things, and you're going to use technology in which to do that. And then you also look at the way that the learning environments. Are you wanting them to collaborate, or is it very goal driven? Those sorts of things. So as you look at the TIM model, you may be at the entry level that it talks about, like with technology, and that you're not very comfortable with it, and you're just using it to kind of get the standards and the contents to the students. And then you come into the next one where now you're wanting the students to kind of use it, and it grows and grows and grows from there to eventually where it says transformation, and the teacher completely wants their classroom to use, not completely use technology, wants to use it to create an environment where they're learning all the time, where they want to be there. And it comes across as they're creating new things with technology that they may never have been able to do with what they had there. So when you're looking at the TIM model, they give you lesson plans that you can look at and get a feel for how they're creating a lesson that uses the transformation cell of technology and the collaborative level of a classroom environment. And you can look at that on the Arizona Educational website. If you just type in TIM to Google, it'll pop up with their website where you can view the lesson plan videos that they have, and they're awesome. But you may be thinking, well, this is a lot of information. Which one is going to be easier for me to use, or as a first-time teacher, which one's not going to be as scary? And personally, I think the SAMR model is that one. The SAMR model, it's when you look at the TIM model, you're basically looking at a table, kind of like an Excel spreadsheet, and you look at 25 cells overall, and it shows you how what a classroom will look like at each level. So at the very first level of classroom environment, with the very first level of technology, and so on and so forth. And so sometimes that might be a little overwhelming. Whereas the SAMR model, you're just looking at those 4 words, and you as the teacher have to make the judgment call. Use your evaluation skills to say, okay, in this lesson, are they just using technology as a form of substitution? Are they just subbing it for something else to make it easier? Or are they using technology to recreate something or do something they never would have been able to do before without it? But as you go along, I'm going to challenge you to not just stick with the SAMR model, but to look at other models like the TIM model. And it's called the Loyalty, I believe, model. And expanding your horizons on how you can evaluate technology use in your classroom as you go on throughout your schooling. And I hope that this video has opened your eyes to the use of technology in the classroom, and how you as a teacher, even though you may not be as comfortable, you can bounce off the children and how comfortable they are with technology, and bounce off ideas about how things they want to use with technology. How would you want to use technology to write a paper? What's an end project that you would want to do that involves using like iMovie or something like that, and feeding off of them, and just keep continuing to grow in technology and be open to learning about it. So I hope that you now have a better definition of the SAMR and the TIM model, and you'll be able to decide for yourself which one you would like to use better based on the knowledge that you've heard from this video today.